Hey, 4C Divers! It is Thursday, May 18th, 2023, and we have a great Facebook Live presentation planned tonight. This is Dylan. Everyone say hello to Dylan. He is going to be our guest speaker today. So go ahead and say hello in the comments. Let us know where you're listening in from. And give us a little heart emoji, a little smiley face, or a thumbs up. Let us know that you're enjoying tonight's presentation. And if you want to learn anything else about spearfishing, guys, go on over to our website. It is Spearfishing Month at 4C, where we have lots of great things planned. We have talks, we have dives, we have gear sales. So if you want to learn more about spearfishing because you either are already in it, but you want to learn more tips and tricks, tune in, come in, talk to our spear pros. If you've never done any spearfishing before, go ahead, come in, talk to our guys and gals, and they can set you up with one of our spearfishing pros, and you can do a guided dive where they'll teach you about how to use some of the gear. So lots of options to get you in so you can catch yourself dinner. All right. So May is Spearfishing Month because that is the start of our grouper and our hogfish season here in South Florida. And so we like to celebrate that by bringing you guys some really cool presentations. And tonight we're going to have one of the, biggest spearfishing manufacturer, JBL. We've got Dylan here, and he's going to tell you more about the organization and the products and the things that you can use these products to catch in his presentation. But before we start, I want you guys to go on over to our website. If you have not registered for tonight's presentation, make sure that you register before 6:45 because that's the cutoff time. You want to put your name and your email address, and we will put you into a live drawing at the end of tonight. And we are raffling off either a spear tip or a spear band so that you can, enjoy some spearfishing gear from us. So go ahead, go over to www.force-e.com, find the event tab, drop down, find the event tonight, register, and then listen in and see if you're the winner. All right, everyone's saying hello to you, Dylan.
Hey, guys.
Dylan, where are you at right now?
I am in Stuart, Florida. Well, in between Stuart and Port St. Lucie, so South Florida.
So he's here on this side of the Florida coast. So
not too far from you guys.
But the name JBL is international. So you're going to tell us a little bit more about the company in just a moment. But guys, if you have questions, go ahead and write them in the comments section. If you have any questions for Dylan or for myself, and we'll get those answered. If not during the presentation, we'll do it afterwards. So, all right, Dylan, I'm going to go ahead and let you take over. I'm going to bring in this slideshow. There it is. And I'm going to bring in over here. Really quick, guys. This is our page for our events. If you go into the Get Speared tab right here, this is our Spearfishing Month. Talk to you guys about, there's some cool videos about how to spearfish, and also some of our products are on here. And it's not loading very good because I'm experiencing, I don't know about up there where you're at, but I have like a storm coming through. So sorry if my internet's a little weird. But here's some really cool stuff that you can learn about the Spearfishing Month. And if you type in this search bar right here, JBL, boom, that's going to take you to all the products that we sell online for our JBL products. And then you can come into our stores and take a look at them as well. But let's go ahead and start this off with a video. All right. Who's ready to learn about spearfishing? All right. Okay, Dylan, here we go. I'm going to give you your PowerPoint.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Like Nicole said, my name is Dylan Waters. I am the spearfishing rep, and I actually spelt my own name wrong. Excuse me for that. Well, did not correct it. It's Dillon. But I am the South Florida JBL rep, and actually the majority of Florida at this point. So I'm going to be doing a presentation for you guys today on a few of the products that Force E sells for us. They are a great account for us, and we love having them and loving having our products in their store. Um, all right. So who is JBL? So as the name implies, JBL International is an international spearfishing company. Um, they are based in California, Oceanside, California, actually, and it is a family-run business. The father and son, Guy and Sam, both are the ones who make the products that you are using. Almost everything that they do make is either CNC'd, cut, or heat treated in house or in the US. So everything you're getting is American made when it comes to JBL, or the majority of products are. But like I was saying, they are a family company. Everyone that works there, whether if they are related or not, has been there for a significant long amount of time. Um, Shirley, who's internal, which if you ever call up there or have any questions, you can always call and ask them. Or if 4C's calling for you and you guys are talking to her, Shirley's probably who you're going to get a hold of. She's been there for 20 something plus years. So JBL has been around for a very long time, and they are here. They're going to be here for a lot longer. Um, they just This is a company that I love being a part of. Um, they are very personable. The cool thing about spearfishing in general is that everyone does talk amongst one another, and they are just the same. They love answering questions. They love talking about it, and they love developing new products that work for the markets they're in. Um, they are spear fishermen first and foremost, which is the funniest part, because sometimes I call them and they're on the boat, which is the same for my dive store owners and the same for my other customers. I try to get a hold of them and they're usually out spear fishing, and I'm on the road. So I'm like, I would love to come out there with you guys too. So I do get to go out. And we're planning a trip to the Bahamas right now, which we're going to take several of the products that I'm going to show you today with us. And I'll show you which ones are actually great for the Bahamas. Um, all right, so next slide. So what we're going to go over today, and what products we do offer through JBL, are obviously spear guns. We are a spear gun company. Um, that is our main bread and butter, our spear guns, whether it be wooden, metal, or pole spears. We have everything, and we have different versions of each. Um, we have our bands and our shafts. Those are, we are a full line of spearfishing products. Everything that we sell, gun wise, we have all the accessories for it. And another really cool thing about JBL is that they carry products and make products for almost every other spear gun manufacturer as well. So if you can't find something that your current gun takes, we usually make it for that gun. Another thing we do are knives. We do fins, wetsuits, reels, float lines, anything you can think of spearfishing, JBL offers it. All right. We can switch to the next one. There we go. All right. So we are going to break down the gear by what fish you guys are going to be going for. Pole spears are what we're going to start with. If you're looking to shoot small snappers, hogfish, lionfish, and even, smaller to, not small as in like not legal, but like small range to medium grouper, pole spears can actually do the job very, very well. Um, JBL sells a full range of pole spears. Um, we have the Carbon series, which is going to come in a 3-foot, a 4-foot, an Abaco composite, which is going to come in a 3-foot, 4-foot, 5-foot, and 6-foot. So what this is it's a wrapped glass pole spear, and it's actually one of Guy's own inventions that he does. So he's pretty proud of this. Um, the link. This is a heavy hitter. It has some weight to it. If you go into 4C into one of their stores, they actually carry, I believe, every size that I just mentioned: 3-foot, 4-foot, 5, and 6. If you go in and you pick one of these up, you'll notice compared to what our old aluminum pole spears used to be. These have a lot of just density to them when they hit a target. They're going to hit real hard. The bigger, well, they all now come, but the bigger one I have actually has the new band. So they're going to come with a green band now, which is our Compound X, which we'll go over in just a minute. But all of them will come with a green band. And then if you still want the black bands, you can, because there are a lot of people that do prefer the black bands too, but we have both. But the new ones will start coming with the greens as well. But this pole spear, like I was saying, so it's a heavy hitter. It has a 6 mil tip, so you can add any of our pole spear tips to it. And the 3 foot is very popular among lionfish hunters. This is most people's go-to when it comes to this. And this is just some grip tape I added to it. My own personal grip tape. We are going to sell this in green, but personally, this is my actual personal one, so we can ignore this for right now. But this is the lionfish version, and then which can be used for a lot more. And then the 4, the 5, and the 6 can be used for, your snappers. All the way from, you can use them for almost anything in reality. So going to the next pole spear that 4C sells a lot of, and it's probably one of my favorites, it's going to be the Shaka. So the Shaka is a very popular Bahamas pole spear. So it is a carbon fiber pole. Now I actually have the hybrid, so I have both carbon and aluminum. But it is a carbon fiber breakdown pole spear. This is a big game pole spear. And is meant for when you go to the Bahamas and you cannot use a spear gun, you have something that you can use and get big fish. So this will be paired with one of our big game tips, which is what it will come with. And then you'll be able to adjust it anywhere, I think, from 7 to 9 feet is what the Shaka can come in. So this is, if you're looking for a pole spear to up your game, or if you have a pole spear and you have guns and you're looking for something new, this is definitely the route I would go. Once I started using the Shaka, I fell in love with pole spear fishing again. All right. Are there any questions before we move on, I guess, to the next one, to the next set of guns? All right. So if you're looking for something a little bit bigger, grouper, some larger jacks, mahis, we're going to have several different options that you can use. Now, I actually don't have a carbine series to show you, but I have an Explorer, which I'll show you in just a second. The carbine series, hold on, this is actually, this should be the Explorer series. But Explorer or carbine, they'll both be the same, or some of the same points. But the Explorer and the carbines are going to be rail guns. They are going to be your entry level rail guns for someone who is, one wants a nice gun without breaking the bank. The Explorer and the carbines are going to be the route you would go. This will bring home fish all day. I actually use one of these. This is not my personal. This was brand new. But I use one of these all the time, especially on my shore dives. And then on some of my shallower boat dives, I use the carbines and the Explorers. They're going to be aircraft grade aluminum. It's going to have our nitro bands on it, and it's going to have the heat treated shaft as well. Kimmy, are you asking hogfish in general, or with the pole spears that we were just talking about? I just saw your question down in the corner. So, but just in a general answer is almost all of them will be good for hogfish. Okay, so pole spears. So pole spears, we'll go back to that just really quick. The For hogfish, you're going to be looking for anything over. I mean, any of the 4 foot, 5 foot, or 6 foots will be great. Whether it's our abaco or the shakas. The shaka is going to give you a wider variety. You can buy different pieces for it, break it down. Um, it will be a little bit for the bigger hogfish, which I would say a lot of people use the shakas for hogfish, especially on the West Coast and in the Bahamas. That's like one of its main uses. Um, but really, any of them. I mean, I've killed with the weight of that abaco. I've actually shot a hogfish with the 3 footer. So, and it, I mean, it was enough. There was enough force behind the band on that 3 footer to actually go through it, and it was a perfect. Like it was easy. So, just the amount of force that those pole spears get, it's ridiculous. So you should be good. All right, we can let's go to 2 slides forward. Unless anyone has any questions on the carbines or the Explorers. I will bring up the Explorer just on a full screen really quick, because it does have the new band on it, and so this is what our guns will all start coming with moving forward. Now they're going to be made by the same company. Primeline is actually who makes our bands, and so they make them directly for us, and so that's who is going to be making our green bands, the same one I was making our other bands. So just depending, it's a personal preference really, that you can choose. All right, we can pull that back up. Okay, so if you're looking to shoot big fish, the Reaper is definitely going to be the gun you're going to want to use. I think she has a video that's going to go with this one. So if you want to play that really quick, Nicole. Yeah. Yeah. So the Reaper, that was actually one of our Euro Woods, which is what our Reaper is. They were shooting a Wahoo, but it was actually what our Reaper series is based off as well. So this is the Reaper. This is actually one of the wrapped and dipped ones. So the Reaper series, I'm actually just going to pull up my other stuff real quick on my end. So the Reapers come in a wide variety of sizes, and this is probably one of the most popular guns that we sell at Force E. Uh, the Reapers that you guys get are actually a little different than the ones you'll see here, though. We do make a custom Reaper for Force E, and it has a closed muzzle. So they request it, and we make one. It's a simple enough. We switch out the muzzle for them, and it creates a new gun. But it is our Reaper just with that closed muzzle. And there's actually a lot of people that do that on their own as well. So the Reaper is through and through an American-made gun. This is what the owners of JBL dive. This is I personally use a Reaper when I'm using, like, this is my go-to. I guess I would say I use almost all of them, but the Reaper is probably my go-to. The weight, the way it pans through the water, is magnificent. The handle is absolutely just, it's economical as you can get. It feels great. It has a groove. I don't know if you actually, I have a piece. It has a groove in the barrel, so the shaft sits in there, or right above it, and it helps guide that shaft and keeps the flex down. Pull this up. And so the Reaper comes, and this is the 70, and this is actually the smallest size that it comes in. It comes in a 70, a 90, a 100, a 110, a 120, and a 130. If I do lose, I may lose Wi-Fi too, Nicole. I have a really bad storm. I guess it's hitting me now. So the spear shafts that come on the Reaper are actually a point and wing. You can buy other shafts that fit it, that have threads on it, but this is actually going to be just your point and wing shaft. You don't need a tip. It is specifically made, this shaft is made to have its own point and wing on there. Comes with, it'll come with the compound, or the compound X bands soon enough. Once they start switching those over, once they start getting them in stock, I guess is the best way to say it. They'll start switching some of these over, and you'll have both options as well. All right, if you want to pull back up the slideshow, I'll make sure I didn't miss anything on those. Okay, so actually, yeah, I missed a few things I wanted to hit. The Reaper does come with the rail, or with the, oh my goodness, the reel adapter right built into the handle. So if you are free diving, you have the ability to put on a reel right there, and it actually has the where's my eyelet? The stainless steel eyelet up here, so you can run your line through it. I probably can't see that right there, but it has a stainless steel eyelet in there. It does have a stainless steel sear and line release as well. And then you can take this gun butt on or off. And it actually, just quick note, you can stick a 6-inch gun butt on there as well, which we sell separately. So there are many options when it comes to the Reaper. I think that is it. Are there any questions on the Reaper? The barrel, the groove that creates the free float. There is a barrel float chamber as well. So after you shoot the gun, your spear gun floats. So it is slightly positive once the gun shoots. So it keeps the line kind of out of your face. All right, we should be good to move to the next one. All right, the Magnum. Made that one small, didn't I? So, okay, Scott, I'll answer your question really quick. He asked why open versus closed muzzle. So that is a debate that goes back and forth. Actually, it's a personal preference in the simplest of terms. It sometimes can be broken down into free divers like open muzzles and scuba divers like closed, but it's actually, I do nothing but scuba, and I started with an open muzzle and love it. I now have a few. I actually have one of the closed muzzle Reapers that we sell at at 4C as well, and that's the one I use the most. It's easier to load is one of the main reasons a closed muzzle, because you thread that shaft through that muzzle at the end, and so you just know where to put it, and it goes right then. Without that, I'll just pull this trigger. There we go. So without that, you have to thread this in. This is an open muzzle one, and make sure that you land it right where it needs to be. And then you have to actually rack that shaft in with the line. So when you're threading this back through, you got to wrap that. actually right in front of the shaft holds it in. So that's what holds the shaft in. So like I said, I mean, it's mainly a personal preference, but people have their own reasons. I like both ways. No way is specific to me at all. I hope that answered your question. I know I kind of just went all around. So the Magnum. Okay, perfect. So the Magnum is actually it's a bigger gun fish or bigger fish gun, but it's actually a throwback to one of JBL's probably best selling guns. So the Magnum is newly reinvented, uses the same tube as the Reaper series, and actually it's going to have the same trigger and the same trigger shear. The gun butt will be different. You'll actually have that 6-inch gun butt that comes stock with the Magnum, and it actually does come with a closed muzzle as well. Now it does not come in the wrapped colors, and it does have a lot less sizes. It only has, I guess, 4 to start out with now, but the a lot of the other features are going to be the same. The float tube inside the gun is going to be the same. Whenever you shoot this gun, it's going to float up so that it stays out of your way. It's going to have 2 bands, and then you'll have the ability to add a third one on the larger ones, just like on the Reapers. And then the safety is going to be in the same spot as well as the other ones. And you can actually take this gun butt out and switch it to the short one if you wanted. But this is a closed version, closed muzzle version. Now, the biggest difference between this and the Reaper is going to be the actual shaft in itself. Hold on, I'm just going to pull up my other notes real quick. Oh, I zoomed in on myself. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So it's going to be a. So yeah, the 5/16 shafts, and it's going to be a threaded shaft as well on the Magnum. So you're going to have a thicker shaft, which is going to lead to more punch, and it does have that closed muzzle, but you also have a little bit more resistance because of that shaft. So this one's more of a medium to medium large spearfish game fish, where the Reaper would be a large game or all the way in between. All right. Shafts. Trying to think of the differences between. You'll have. Yeah. Still has the integrated. Still has the rail for the reel, or the mount for the reel, and it still has the integrated shaft rail for the accuracy on this one as well. All right, if we want to pull back up this slideshow, easier to add a reel and float to this gun for bigger fish. This one, you could add a float and a rail. So JBL actually does not have floats right now, but you could add a reel onto a float with this one or the Reaper. Those would be the 2 ideal guns to use that with, definitely. And the Reaper would be a good one, just because if you had the open muzzle too, when you're adding the reel, you don't have to worry about that line getting caught in there. All right, so bands. Yeah, so we've actually talked about a bunch. I don't need to go over a whole lot on them, but we do have new bands, which will be shipping to 4C here shortly. They will come in our normal packaging, which we don't have to make this big, but they'll come in our normal packaging like this, which is, this one's an old one, but void of sunlight, so it keeps them fresh until you get them. Or until you use them. And then if you're going to be storing your gun, I do recommend, this is a resealable bag. I do recommend taking them off your gun and throwing them back in here, and it will save the life of your bands. Do better than me, and your bands will last a lot longer. The Compound X bands will, coming from Primeline, they will have more stretch. So it's in from what is in, you know, the documents that we have. It's 20% more stretch with only an 8% reduction of power. So we're still, working on those numbers and everything like that, but that is what we have so far. So knives, yes. So spearfishing knives, we have updated our Shiv X, which is our go-to. It is black coated, as you see there in the picture, and it does have so it does click on retention. It has a nice retention click, but then as a backup, it does have the bungee, which goes right here. Throw that right there. Yeah, so there's a little out there, which is where the bungee would go on. So you can also use that bungee for wrapping through your hand. So it's kind of multi-purpose when you're using the knife. Keeps you from losing that. So this knife is this is a fan favorite for sure. All right, we should be good on the next one. Tips. Choosing your tips and shafts are going to be completely depending on what you are shooting. We've talked a lot about small fish, big fish, and we've talked about a lot of different product, whether it be guns or pole spears. We do have specific to pole spear tips, and that would be, let's see. So we have more than this. I'll show you some of our popular ones. This is going to be, something that everyone should probably have in their arsenal, and that is the paralyzer tip. It's a 3-prong barbed tip, and so that's a go-to for a lot of people. Lionfish, you can get the short ones for lionfish, or you can use these either way. And then for our big game, so we have several versions of a slip tip, but we also have our new one, which is our tomahawk. And that's going to come with the Shaka carbons. And so this is a big game pole spear tip right here. Has the retention band right there. Hit a fish, you see it's on there. But once you hit a fish, and this is actually a 600-pound Spectra line. So we realized we didn't need to use the cable because the cable just crimped. And so we started using super, super strong line. All right, another couple of tips we use, the base ones, which this is our regular gun slip tip. Comes in packaging like this. This is one of my personal ones I threw back in the packaging. But comes just like that. And then we have some of our bigger game tips, like the little nuke. And then we have the warhead as well. So these will be used for throwing on the end of a spear gun. One like the Magnum that I showed you would take all of those. That's a good question. So I would recommend getting someone to sharpen them. Now you can take you can sharpen your own depending on what type you have. Some of our tips you can file down. And like our rock points and things like that. So give me one second. So on some of our rock point tips, if it's like there'll be 3 or 2 sides to it, you can actually run those along a sharpening stone or a file, and it will sharpen your tips for you. You can do the same on your shafts too, but there are people that do sharpen them as well. I would probably need to look a little bit more into that as well. I haven't sharpened one in a long time. Mostly just the rock points that I mentioned on the file I've done. All right. So knowing your local rules and laws is very, very important. This slide is always a good one to have in there. This is something that you should, if you are not familiar with, you should familiarize yourself with them before going out. There is there's not a lot of love for people who shoot like small fish or shoot fish that shouldn't be shot, or people who just don't pay attention to what they're doing. So try to make sure you either one go out with someone who does know for the first few times, or take a um, so you can actually or take a class. Sorry, I saw a question come in. Take an actual class on spearfishing, or go out with an instructor that knows what they're doing, or someone who does go out all the time and leads people. That's the best way to get to know it. And it is different when you start out spearfishing. It's something you're getting used to, so you're not necessarily going to know what you can and can't shoot, and know what looks different underwater than it does on the surface. Um, so a question came in: is there something I can put on my gun to measure the fish? Um, yes. So depending on what you shoot, I actually have a trick that I use that with that grip tape that I showed you, and we will have this soon enough, and I'll let Nick know as soon as we get it in, so he can order some for you guys. Um, I actually on my pole spears, I take a measuring tape and I measure out whatever I'm hunting, and so I can actually, kind of eyeball it, and I do it on my gun as well. Now with things that are very quick and don't stay near you, it's obviously going to be hard to try it out. But for any fish that you're able to get close enough to, kind of like when I used to do flounder up in North Carolina, you would measure and just mark it on your stick, and then you would just swim up to them and hold it. And if it was big enough, you would do it. So it was as simple as that. Some people put it on their spear gun. Some people put it on their fins. It's just a personal preference. Making sure you know if you there's rules of thumbs with a lot of them. So just seeing one and kind of knowing it's not big enough that takes time. It definitely takes time. So that's why I said definitely go out with people who've gone before and know what they're doing. Is there any other questions?
Okay, there is a question I have for you. So when it comes to shooting the fish with the pole spear or the spear guns, what should we be aiming? Like, what's the way to aim so you can get that kill shot?
So wow, this is another one that people will go back and forth on. But behind the gills is going to be like coming in from the gills from an angle coming out. So it goes through where they breathe and out, kind of the side of their head is going to be your best kill shot. And that's always your goal, is to get a kill shot usually. One, so you don't have to fight it, and one, so it's quick. And if you if you do get a bad shot, that's what the knife is there for. So making sure you get to the fish and ended it quickly. I see a question: what's the biggest fish you've speared? Definitely not as big as some of the people down here in Florida. I know that for sure. Um, when I came down here from North Carolina, I was actually amazed by some of the fish people were spearing, and I was like, all right, this is going to be fun. And I have hit some big ones. I would say, uh, I mean, my biggest grouper was still under 40 inches, but you know, it was a decent gag. It was a decent gag. But I've
Hold
definitely
on,
hit.
Dylan. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm going back to about aiming
yeah.
stuff, because the reason why I'm asking, I was kind of baiting to see if you could help me. I don't know in this stuff. So when I'm using, say, the pole spear or a spear gun, so yes, where you want to get the kill shot, but like when you're aiming,
Oh, how do you aim it?
yeah, like where are you aiming? Because fish swim really fast. So should I be like
Yeah.
pulling
So
the
you
trigger
will
before he gets
you
in front of me, or
yeah. So you will lead the shot, definitely. So yeah, we call that leading the shot, and
okay.
that's what comes with practice. And I'll be honest, you'll miss fish a lot when you first start out, just getting the hang of that. So yeah, you'll lead the shot, shoot a little bit in front of them, try to anticipate where they're going to be. Um, Spearfishing is about stalking them and kind of guessing what they're going to do next. So you want to, I mean, you can, if they're sitting kind of still in a hole, then yeah, you'll shoot right where you want to shoot. Like wherever you, if they're sitting still, obviously you're just going to shoot. Um, and that's where sometimes you do have to worry about what's behind it as well. So if they're in a hole, you may need to actually move over and take a different shot so you don't get it stuck in the reef. One, that's bad for the reef, and two, there's nothing worse than trying to dig a shaft out of the reef.
And so because you're talking about digging a shaft out of the reef,
Yeah.
if my shaft does have maybe not a severe bend, but a little bit of bend, is it easy to rebend spears and keep using them?
It is not that easy. Yeah. I mean, there are people that I believe try and do it, but there are people who make a living off just reselling shafts, including JBL too. Yeah, shafts they're meant to be hard and not bend, so when they do bend, it's a pain.
Yeah. So it sounds like if you are going out and spearfishing, always have an extra couple of bands, have an extra spear,
Yes,
and an extra
always
tip.
important. There's nothing like getting out on the water and either one having a band break or actually shooting a fish and something does break because the fish is so large, and that does happen, and then not getting to get back into the water. So yeah, always having spares is just a good rule of thumb, especially with spearfishing, because that's the whole reason you are going out there. It's the same as if you were going to take photos. You would not take spare batteries because the whole reason you paid for that dive was to photo. So it's going to be along those lines. Is yeah, always take spares, whether it be a spare tip, spare bands. Bands is probably the most important thing, and then tips would be the second most.
And what's the etiquette when you go on boats with like where you can store your spear gun?
So always ask the boat operator is going to be the best, or yeah, the captain is going to be the best route. Either the captain or the person who owns the dive shop that runs the boat. They will tell you where they want it. It's usually going to be where, if they don't have a rack, it'll be where their spear or their fishing rods are, or their hooks, because that's where they lay down the long stuff that is out of the way. People don't need to hit. Um, you definitely don't want to ever get on a boat with a spear gun that has bands that are loaded. That is a no-no. And they probably won't let you get back off the boat with that same spear gun. So yeah, you never want to hand that to them. I mean, I guess unless it's pointing toward yourself, but that's just not smart either.
Please don't do that. Have you guys
Yeah.
seen some of the photos that come across Facebook and Instagram? It's like the guy with like, the spear through his butt cheek.
Oh yeah, that's like I met the guy who, I know the guy who sold him that gun. Yeah, I actually
rule number
reheard
one,
that story recently.
Yeah. So rule number one, never hand up a gun that's loaded. And another rule is because I was thinking too, is put the little cap on the tip of your spear.
Yeah, and if you have it, definitely, if you have it on the boat, those get lost easily. They do sell, like I will say, try to keep a hold of it, because I mean, I do my best to keep a hold of mine too, just because it keeps it from sticking into everything, including the truck bed. Like a sharp shaft just sticking everywhere is not nice. If with your own stuff or on the boat.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are going to move on to, since we're talking about tips and bands, we're going to do our raffle. So we've got 2 winners tonight. So let's see who that's going to be. I've got your guys' names in our random name picker. So first winner is and Jeremy, you are the winner. You can go on down to 4C and you can pick out either a band or a spear tip. So one or the other. We're going to choose another winner. And Daniela, you are our second winner. So again, I'll send you guys out an email that lets you know where to go pick up your win for tonight. If you're over here and you're the winner, give us a woo in the comments section. All right. And thank you, Dylan. What a great presentation about the different things that JBL offers so that we can go get dinner.
Definitely, yeah. And actually, I wanted to address Artie's comment right there on the wine cork. That is actually perfect advice. Yes, on the spear tips.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, like I said, it is Spearfishing Month at 4C. So either go on over to our website or come on in and meet our spear pros, and we'll get you the gear to get you some dinner. See you later.
Bye, guys.